What if I told you that the entire way you've been thinking about launching products is completely wrong? Most people spend weeks, and sometimes months, obsessing over one product. Perfecting the logo, tweaking the landing page, running it by friends, waiting for the perfect moment, and then they launch and nothing happens. I decided to do the opposite. I launched 10 products in 10 days, back to back, no breaks, no excuses, no waiting until it's perfect. And what happened? Well, it wasn't what I expected at all. Some things worked brilliantly, some things crashed and burned in spectacular fashion, and a few lessons I learned during those 10 days completely restructured the way I think about building, shipping, and selling. So if you've ever had a product idea sitting in a notes app collecting digital dust, or if you've launched something before and heard absolutely nothing but crickets, this video is for you. Stay with me, because I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, what I learned, and what you should steal from this experiment. Before we get into the 10 products themselves, let me set the stage so you understand why I even did this. There's a concept in the startup and product world called ship velocity. The idea that the speed at which you can move from idea to launched product is one of the most valuable skills you can develop as a builder or entrepreneur. The legendary entrepreneur Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, once said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." That quote used to make me uncomfortable. Now it's basically my operating system. The challenge I set for myself was simple in theory, brutal in execution. One new product idea per day, built and launched that same day or within 24 hours, shipped to a real audience, meaning real people who could actually buy, use, or give feedback. Document everything honestly, no fake launches, no coming soon pages. Real products, real distribution, real results. Now let me be clear, these weren't physical products I was manufacturing in a factory. These were digital products, micro tools, templates, mini courses, SaaS concepts, newsletters, content products. The kinds of things a solo creator or small team can actually build and ship in a day. But make no mistake, they were real, functional, and publicly available. Let me walk you through what actually happened. The 10 products, what I built and what happened. Product 1, the Notion template pack. Day 1, I started with something I already knew well, Notion. I packaged up 5 of my personal productivity templates, a weekly review system, a project tracker, a content calendar, a reading list database, and a goals dashboard, and into a single product and listed it on Gumroad for $9. Result? 7 sales on day 1. That's 6308, not life-changing. But here's what mattered. It validated something critical. People were willing to pay for organized thinking. Not for flashy design, for structure. That insight shaped everything that came after. Lesson 1. Start with what you already know. Your existing systems have value. Product 2. The cold email swipe file. Day 2. I compiled 30 cold email templates I had personally written, tested, or studied, covering SaaS outreach, freelance pitching, partnership requests, and investor outreach. I wrote a short PDF guide explaining the psychology behind each one, packaged it up, and sold it for $15. 11 sales. 165s in one day. But more importantly, the feedback was gold. 3 buyers emailed me directly asking if I could turn it into a full course. I wrote that feedback down. I didn't act on it that day, but I wrote it down. Lesson 2. Your buyers will tell you what to build next. Pay attention to what they ask for after purchase. Product 3, the AI prompt library. Day 3. AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude were everywhere. But most people were still struggling to get good outputs because they didn't know how to write good prompts. I created a curated library of 100 prompts organized by use case, marketing, writing, coding, research, business strategy, and sold it for $12. This one took off. 19 sales on day 1. And it kept selling passively for days afterward because people started sharing it on X, formerly Twitter, and in Slack communities. Here's the key insight. I didn't create anything new. I curated and organized existing knowledge into a format that saved people time. Curation is an underrated product category. Lesson 3. Curation is creation. Saving someone time and confusion is a legitimate, valuable product. Product 4. The one-page business plan template. Day 4. I'd been helping friends sketch out business ideas informally for years. I turned my thinking framework into a single-page fillable PDF that forced you to answer the most important questions about a business in one structured page. Problem. Solution, target customer, revenue model, unfair advantage, first 10 customers, 6 sales. Lower conversion than the others, and I think I know why. The audience for this was broader and harder to reach organically. The lesson here wasn't that the product was bad. It was that distribution matters as much as the product itself. Lesson 4. A great product with no audience is still a dead product. Distribution is not optional, it's half the battle. Product 5. The freelance rate calculator, spreadsheet tool, day 5. I built a Google Sheets calculator that helped freelancers figure out exactly what hourly and project rate they needed to charge to hit their income goals, accounting for taxes, unpaid time, business expenses, and vacation days. I priced it at $7.14 sales and a massive response on social media. People had been guessing at their rates for years. A simple spreadsheet gave them a framework. Here's the business insight here. People don't just want inspiration. They want tools. A calculator that gives you a specific number is infinitely more valuable than a blog post that says charge your worth. Specificity sells. Lesson 5. Tools beat tips. If you can help someone get a specific, concrete answer, that's a product. Product 6. The Viral Thread Templates Day 6. I packaged 25 fill-in-the-blank Twitter X thread templates across different categories: personal story threads, educational threads, contrarian opinion threads, list threads, and case study threads. Sold it for $10, 8 sales. But this one had an interesting side effect. I used one of my own templates to write a thread about the experiment I was running, and that thread got significant traction, driving traffic back to all my other products. The product became its own marketing channel. Lesson 6. Sometimes your product is also your best marketing. Build products that demonstrate their own value publicly. Product 7, the No-Code Stack Resource Guide, Day 7. I documented every no-code and low-code tool I use or have researched, organized by use case with honest pros, cons, and pricing notes. 80+ tools. Sold it for $8 as a PDF guide. 5 sales, the lowest so far. I think the problem was oversaturation. There are a lot of free resources that cover similar ground. I was competing with free, and I didn't have a strong enough differentiation. This was an important failure. Not every idea deserves to be a product, even if you execute it well. Lesson 7. Validate before you build. Ask, is there a free version of this that already exists? If yes, what makes yours 10x better? If you can't answer that, reconsider. Product 8, the Weekly Review Audio Guide, Day 8. Something different. I recorded a 22-minute audio guide walking listeners through my entire weekly review process. The questions I ask, the frameworks I use, how I close out one week and set up the next. I sold it for $12, 9 sales. But what surprised me was the feedback. People loved the audio format. They said it felt more personal than a PDF. One person said it felt like having a coach in my ear. I hadn't expected audio to land that way, but it taught me that format is a product feature, not just a delivery mechanism. Lesson 8. Format matters. The same content delivered in audio, video, or interactive format can hit completely differently. Experiment with the container, not just the content. Product 9. The Micro SaaS Idea Database, Day 9. I compiled 50 micro SaaS ideas, small software product concepts that could realistically be built by a solo developer or small team, each with a brief description of the problem, potential audience, and rough monetization model. I sold it for $19, the highest price point of the experiment. 12 sales. The higher price didn't kill conversions, which was a revelation. I'd been conditioned to think low price draws more buyers, but the right audience will pay more for the right product. The people buying a $19 micro SaaS idea database are serious builders, and they're happy to pay $19 if the ideas are genuinely good. Lesson 9. Don't be afraid to charge more for the right audience. Price signals quality and attracts serious buyers. Product 10. The 10 products in 10 days behind the scenes report, Day 10. Meta move. I packaged the entire experiment, all 10 products, The sales data, the lessons learned, the tools I used, the mistakes I made, into a detailed written report and sold it for $25.22 sales in the first 24 hours. It was the highest earning product of the entire experiment. Why? Because by that point I had proven something. I wasn't selling theory, I was selling documented proof. The report had authority because it came from someone who had actually done the thing. Lesson 10. Document everything as you go. Your journey is a product. The story of how you built something is often more valuable than the thing itself. The numbers, what the data actually showed, let me give you the honest breakdown. Over 10 days across 10 products, I generated a total of 113 individual sales. The total revenue came out to just over $100. Now before you say, that's not that much, let me give you context. These products were built in a single day each. No team, no ad spend, no existing email list of tens of thousands, just organic distribution through social media, a small audience and word of mouth. But the real numbers aren't even the revenue. Here's what actually mattered more. I got direct feedback from real customers on 10 different product concepts in 10 days, something most product developers don't get in 10 months. I built a library of digital assets that continued generating passive income after the experiment ended. I grew my audience because the experiment itself was interesting content. I identified 2 products worth doubling down on, the AI prompt library and the cold email swipe file, based on sales data, feedback and demand signals. And I completely rewired my relationship with shipping. The fear of launching evaporated because I'd done it so many times in such a short period. The deeper lessons. What this really taught. Now let me go beyond the product-by-product breakdown and give you the philosophical shifts this experiment created for me. Shift. Perfectionism is procrastination wearing a disguise. Every Kiwi day I had to launch something whether it was ready or not. And you know what? The imperfect product sold. Customers didn't penalize me for a simple design or a short PDF. They paid for the value of the information or the tool, not for the polish. The obsession with perfection that most of us carry is not a quality standard. It's fear with a respectable mask on. Shift 2. Speed creates data, and data eliminates guessing. When you launch slowly, you spend enormous amounts of time theorizing about what your audience wants. When you launch fast and often, you replace theory with evidence. I had 10 data points in 10 days. I knew what topics resonated, what price points worked, what formats people responded to, what kind of feedback language showed up repeatedly. That is enormously valuable intelligence, and you can't get it from research alone. You have to ship. Shift 3. The market doesn't care about your effort. It cares about the value delivered. One of my products took me 6 hours to build. Another took 45 minutes. The 45-minute product outsold the 6-hour product. The market doesn't reward effort. It rewards perceived value and relevance to a specific problem. This is uncomfortable but liberating once you accept. Shift 4. Your first product should never be your last. One of the biggest mistakes first-time product creators make is treating their debut product as their defining product. They pour everything into it, and when it doesn't immediately explode, they quit. This experiment proved that building a portfolio of small products creates compounding momentum. Each product teaches you something that makes the next one better. Shift 5. Community and distribution are the real moat. The products that sold best weren't necessarily the best products. They were the ones that got shared, that found their way into relevant communities that were talked about by people who trusted me. If you have an audience, even a small one, you have distribution. And distribution is worth more than almost any product feature. Now what you should do with this. So what does this mean for you? Whether you're a creator, a freelancer, a developer, or someone who's been sitting on a product idea for months, here's what I'd tell you. First, make a list of everything you already know how to do that other people don't, or struggle with. Your expertise is more valuable than you realize. Second, pick the simplest, fastest version of a product you could build from that list. Not a course, not a membership, not a SaaS platform, a template, a guide, a swipe file, a tool, something you could finish in a day. Third, set a deadline of 24 hours and launch it. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be expensive. It has to be real and available to real people. Fourth, collect feedback obsessively. Every reply, every DM, every review, treat it like gold. Because it is. Fifth, do it again. And again. Build the habit of shipping. Because the builders who win aren't always the ones with the best ideas. They're the ones who ship the most and learn the fastest. The biggest takeaway from this entire experiment can be summarized in one sentence. Done and imperfect beats perfect and never launched. Every single time. The 10 days were exhausting. They were humbling. A few of the products were genuinely embarrassing in their simplicity. But I learned more about product building, pricing, audience psychology, and distribution in those 10 days than in the previous year of reading books and watching videos about it. The market is the teacher. Shipping is the tuition. If this video gave you even one insight that pushed you closer to launching something, that's what I'm here for. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one product idea you've been sitting on that you haven't launched yet? I read every comment and I might just feature some of your ideas in a future video. If you found this valuable, please share it with someone who's building something. They need to hear this. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this channel is dedicated to one thing, giving you the real, unfiltered playbook for building things that matter. See you in the next one.